Are you looking for better shooting experience? How about a facility where you can shoot all of your firearms in the same day, where you can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, and practice your rifle work out to 600 yards? Shoot a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. You can do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, president of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you love the outdoors, you'll want to know all about Northern Illinois' largest outdoor shooting facility, the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you're a novice looking for a basic course, an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, or perhaps you want to participate in your favorite shooting event, or just spend an enjoyable day with a family, the Aurora Sportsman's Club is the only shooting facility in the region that offers all that and more. Interested? Then you won't want to miss the next orientation and tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Call, email, or visit our website today to find out how you can become part of a better shooting experience at the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois.
He is the human Molotov cocktail that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them.
So we're going to create a new government that serves you, your family, and your country.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues, here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David's rant of the week is, when Congress gets comfy with Comey, the consequences can be consequential, with David and Gretchen taking a look at ex-FBI Director James Comey's testimony before Congress. And for all the Dems that talk about the government should be that, for all the Dems that talk about how the government should be sure that business is paying John Q. Public a living wage, guess who's been hit with a class action lawsuit following a $1 million bonuses to the fat cats? And finally, you know how Facebook always talks about wanting to make your experience more personal? Turns out it also makes Facebook's experience more profitable for them with some dark overtones to boot. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So give us a call at 815-205-1584. That's 815-205-1584. Or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question or make a comment there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
One can only imagine how the Democrats were doing an Irish jig in anticipation of their golden-haired boy testifying before Congress and dropping a dime on Trump. All the more so since James Comey is a registered Republican, which pretty much takes the term rhino to an entirely new level. The Birkenstock Brigade was salivating over the prospect of Comey testifying that Trump was the subject of a criminal investigation, that he colluded with the Russians to throw the election, that he fired Comey because the then head of the FBI had refused to back off an investigation of a Russian connection, and God only knows what else. I pictured key Democratic leaders sitting in a bar, counting the number of years Trump would get for all his illegal activities. It would be the coup d'etat they had been fantasizing about since the election. Unfortunately for them, it didn't quite work out the way they imagined. About being fired, Comey said, quote, "I understood I could be fired for any reason and for no reason at all," unquote. Not exactly a scathing indictment against the president. To make matters worse, Comey testified that he told the president more than once that he was not personally under investigation. When asked if the Russians tried to interfere with the election, Comey said, quote, "There's no fuzz on this whatsoever," implying that, in fact, they had attempted it. But when asked, quote, "Are you confident that no votes cast in the 2016 presidential election were altered?" Comey replied, "I'm confident. When I left as director, I'd seen no indication of that whatsoever," and went on to press the point by saying, quote, "There was no evidence that a single vote changed as a result of any Russian interference," unquote. As if that weren't bad enough, When asked, did the president at any time ask you to stop the FBI investigation into Russian involvement in the 2016 elections, Comey replied, quote, not to my understanding, no. And he went on to say that no one in the Trump administration, including the Justice Department, asked him to stop the investigation. If the Dems were sitting hard in their overstuffed leather chairs over that one, they were hardly prepared for Comey's next comment. He said the president told him, quote, it would be good to find out in that investigation if there were some satellite associates of his who did something wrong, unquote. Holy melted link card. What could possibly be worse for liberals than the president telling Comey to press on and find out if anyone at all had tried to thwart the investigation? Not only could you hear the entire Democratic caucus deflate, but also the New York Times. But it gets more delicious. Comey was asked if his decision to not bring charges against Clinton's use of a private email server as Secretary of State was the result of a private meeting between then Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton. His response was, it was one of the reasons. Quote, I had to do something separately to protect the credibility of the investigation, which meant both the FBI and the Justice Department, unquote. And then he further explained Attorney General Loretta Lynch specifically directed Comey to stop referring to it as an investigation and instead call it a matter. Comey also said Lynch, who as Attorney General was the head of the Justice Department, seemed to try to interfere with the probe of the Democratic nominee by pushing a political line. Quote, that was one of the bricks in the load that led me to conclude I have to step away from the department to close this case credibly, Comey said. Comey, you may recall, was the guy who outlined pretty much every felony imaginable about Secretary Clinton, who at the time was a declared presidential candidate, then said he wouldn't recommend charges against her doing official business using a private email account and email server, but called her behavior reckless. Reckless is running a stop sign on a country road. Putting top secret documents on a private email server isn't reckless, it's treasonous. Then there's the controversial belief that Trump tried to force Comey to back off on National Security Advisor Mike Flynn. Trump had fired Flynn for misrepresenting contacts with the Russian ambassador. Comey testified that Trump said about Flynn, quote, he's a good guy and he's been through a lot. I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. I hope you can let this go, unquote. The Dems were really hanging their hat on this one. Their ship was coming in. This was the smoking gun. This was the nail in Trump's political coffin. You could hear the Birkenstock Brigade giggling from L.A. to Manhattan. Well, until Senator James Reich of Idaho spoke. Pressing Comey, Reich asked, he did not direct you to let it go. Comey, not in his words, no. Reich, he did not order you to let it go. Comey, those words were not in order. Reich, do you know of any case where a person has been charged for obstruction of justice, or for that matter, any other criminal offense, where they said they hoped for an outcome? Turns out the ship was the Titanic. Comey went on to admit that it was him that leaked confidential memos and emails to friends, and at one point made the comment that Trump lied. Comey said the administration chose to defame me, and more importantly, the FBI, by saying the organization was in disarray, that it was poorly led, that the workforce had lost confidence in its leader. Those were lies. Lies plain and simple, unquote. Now, with all of Trump's assumed transgressions faded into the light of day, and the various nefarious doings by the Dems themselves, which possible issue was most likely to make the headline above the fold the next day? It read, Trump lies. Some days you can't win for losing. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
Treason, I say. Treason.
Yeah, well, you know, all of that. You got all that stuff going on, and of course the New York Times picks the one thing, Trump lies, which makes it sound like the whole thing.
One of our articles said, they've got a soundbite, so they're gonna put it on replay.
And they went with it. They definitely went with it. It just anybody that suggests that papers like the New York Times are not in the bag. Look, every everything that they said Trump did, Comey himself said, well, that's not true. He didn't do that. And then turned around and dropped the dime on the Democrats. All of that, none of that comes out. Trump lies because he called the FBI screwed up operation. So,
did you see the meme of Comey wearing a pink pussy hat and then there was like snowflakes?
no, I didn't see that.
I'll have to find that and put it up.
Well, and that would be appropriate. Give us a call, 815-205-1584. We're going to talk about Comey a little more. We're going to have to take a break here pretty quick. That was a long rant, and I'm sorry, but, it was a long rant. We're going to talk a little bit more about Comey, though, because it was very interesting. I watched. Did you watch it? Did you get to watch it?
No.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't get to watch it.
So I'm like the only person that does news that watches it.
We have jobs.
That's a personal problem. That's not my fault. I'm sorry. It was very interesting. And I said this to you the other day at the opening of Balmoral. The thing that's, to me, most disconcerting about James Comey is he looks honest. When he speaks, you want to believe him.
What did I say? I said he looks like a Boy Scout.
He does. That's literally true. When he talks, and the way he talks, his mannerisms, everything about him instills confidence. He actually is a visually good leader of the FBI. It's what you would want to have in a leader of the FBI. Well, he's confident, but he looks approachable. He looks intelligent. It's just that he lies. there's just that small little problem. But I found the entire interview very interesting, and again, we're going to take a break here, but we'll talk a little more about it when we return. Mike Flynn, what did finally happen with Mike Flynn? Nothing, right? They just dropped it, didn't they?
No, he's. I think he got a subpoena, and he's. Because he said he wouldn't testify unless he got immunity, and I think they came to some kind of an agreement. I'm not 100% up on it, but I think so. Yeah.
It is not. It's not unreasonable for a man who's taken that position to have contact with the Russians. See, here's the thing and we're out of time.
And it wasn't like Russians. It was the ambassador. That's their job.
That's the point I'm going to make. You're absolutely right.
Sorry,
that's what you expect he would do. Exactly. All right, well, we're going to have to take a break. We will come back. We'll talk a little bit more about Comey, and there's some other stuff coming up, which will be interesting. And we'll talk about all that when we return with more
on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Do you dread writing? Is it challenging to find just the right words to get your point across? Do you put off developing marketing materials because you just don't know where to start? You get one chance to make a first impression, and my editor, Creative Business Services, can help make it a strong, positive one. Hi, this is Gretchen Fritz, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to tell you about My Editor, a business I started to help you overcome those concerns. What you're experiencing is very common. My Editor has helped business owners, candidates for political office, and even authors and public speakers. At My Editor Creative Business Services, we can simply edit your existing work or help you develop an entire writing plan of action from initial project design through final copy. We are easy to work with and will help you get your point across in the most effective manner. If words escape you, send me an email at myeditor@mail.com. Use my editor, Creative Business Services, and go to print with confidence. That's my editor at mail.com or find us on Facebook.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
So, one of the problems that people have with Trump is they always talk about how he doesn't understand how the political process works. What they don't understand is that's why, well, things just came to life, didn't they?
Whatever you did.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt my thing there, but all of a sudden my headset exploded in my brain. What they don't understand is the reason we elected him is because he isn't a politician. And they don't get the fact he's all about making deals. If anybody has any questions about Donald Trump at all, read his book, The Art of the Deal. Just read it. That's 100% what he's about. So
someone else told me that too.
When he's talking to Russians or he's talking to, some whatever in the Middle East or whatever, that's what he does for a living. He doesn't. I was going to say he doesn't build walls. That's not exactly true. But,
He builds stuff.
He builds stuff. That's exactly right. He's a stuff builder.
That's right.
And he will talk. It says it in his book. He wrote this years ago, but he says it literally. I don't care if I dislike the guy. If there's a deal to be made, I'm going to work with him. And that's what politicians and the Democrats in particular, because they're all about that typical political process.
Yeah, this woman who apparently writes for Constitution.com, Ilana Mercer, she said, proponents of free markets understand how business operates, but statists don't. And that's what we're dealing with.
That's
we're dealing
exactly
with
right.
We're dealing with a bunch of career politicians who, most of them have never done anything else. I mean, maybe they have in the distant past, but
a lot of them are just lawyers,
not
too.
lately. Yeah, exactly. Which, yeah.
But you're absolutely right. For Democrats, everything flows outward. For conservatives, everything flows inward. We're about making deals, making money, paying our taxes, hiring people, doing that kind of thing. So it's not the largesse of conservatives that keep people in poverty. And that's the thing, and I don't know how many times we've talked about this before, many times, that Hispanics and that blacks, our Democrats makes no sense whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
Since Lyndon Johnson, hell, since Reconstruction, African American people have been held in bondage for all intents and purposes, financial bondage, and they keep throwing pittance stuff at them to keep them there.
Yeah.
They're no better today than they were 7,500 years ago.
No, definitely not.
And you go into those, well, first of all, you don't want to go in those neighborhoods, but you go in those neighborhoods and there's good people that live there, and they live in horrible, people shooting out in the front and stuff.
Right.
At what point do you say it's not working?
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I think I've said this to people before. No, for people who don't know, I used to work for religious sisters. I used to work for an order of nuns, and they were lamenting that they couldn't recruit nuns. They couldn't recruit young women to be nuns. And I said, what you fail to understand is that they don't know anyone who's ever done that. They don't know anyone who's ever joined.
Sure.
And so it's incredibly difficult to do something that you have no frame of reference. And that's exactly like people getting out of the hood or out of the ghetto. It's incredibly difficult to do something where you don't even know how to start. I mean, you've never seen it done, and you don't know anyone who's done it. And so you can't ask them, how do you do this? And, I mean, they don't know how to do it.
You have no frame of reference.
Right. And I don't know that it ever even occurs to most people who live in bad situations, my life could be different. I mean, I think a lot of people don't ever think my life could be different.
It's like, for a long time I wanted to get a gangbanger to come on the show. And Paul McKinley, he really pointed that out, because I thought it would be a simple matter of, and particularly when Paul said, well, I know a lot of gangbangers, I'll talk to them. I thought, well, good, that'll do it. You know what, that'll be the end. We'll do it. And then he found a guy But when he said the radio show's in Elk Grove Village, the guy never even heard of it.
Right. He's like, I got to go where?
Right. And he said to me, Paul did, he goes, I don't think you quite understand. That kid's never been more than 3 or 4 blocks from his home in his entire life.
Sure.
Because crossing the wrong street gets killed.
Right. It's territory.
So how would you know what's going on elsewhere?
Right.
And the interesting thing is, you know, we whine sometimes about how our lives take turns and, you know, oh, I got to do this, oh, I got to do that. And, you know, well, life is hard. Well, life is hard. It's harder for them. What they don't understand is that if you can get out of there, there's people who can help you. You can get some sort of an occupation. And yeah, life can be hard, but it's not as hard as dodging bullets and living in squalor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on where you live, like exactly what you're dealing with. Because some poor neighborhoods are not, you know, demilitarized zones like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
they're not like shooting galleries like you know, Alkgeld and places like that. You know, I mean, some of them are just poor, and you know, I mean, so there's a variety of what, you know, situations they deal with, but I still don't think I mean, to me, if you're that poor that you're like on welfare and, you know, you basically have no income other than what the government gives you, the next step is just a different kind of hard. I mean, it's still hard. It's still really, really hard.
I would agree with that. But, you know, what ends up happening is, I mean, realistically, if somebody said to you, or to me for that matter, we'll just give you X amount of dollars and you don't have to do anything, whatever it is, you know, so that I can continue living the way I'm used to living. So somebody's going to give me enough money to stay right here, all right? What incentive would I have to change that? I'm doing exactly what I've always done, and I don't have to work to get it.
Right.
You know, and you know me, I'm the eternal optimist. I'm always like one good idea from being a gazillionaire.
Sure.
All right. Mostly I'm flushing money down the toilet every day.
Yeah.
But I'm the eternal optimist, right? I'm like, all I got to do is come with one good thought.
All I got to do is one more flush.
That's it. One more thing. One more and I'm good. I'm the rich guy. I've never, ever blamed anyone for anything that's gone wrong in my life. I take, you know, okay, I did it. But like Babe Ruth, and how many times have I said this? Everybody knows Babe Ruth was the home run king. You ask them who was the strikeout king during that period, and they go, I don't know who. Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth was the strikeout king. Yeah. If you don't swing the bat, you don't hit the home run. And so I'm always out there swinging $100 bills in every direction you can see. But what they've lost, what these people have lost, is hope.
And I think dignity. I think it takes away your dignity.
I just think no one, and this is the fault of liberal programs. They don't build those people up. They don't go, look, we can help you. We can do this. We can do that. They don't do that. They give them stuff to keep them quiet and get the vote.
Right.
And they make us conservatives out to be jerks. Oh, they want to do this. They want to do that.
They want to take away your free stuff.
Right. And it's not that we want to take your free stuff away. We want to get it so that you don't need free stuff.
Right, exactly. We want to show you a different way to live.
Exactly. And it's a hard sell.
It is a hard sell. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, in a way I don't, but in a way I do. You know, I mean, from a Republican standpoint, I don't get it. Because, you know, one of the things that gives life meaning is work. One of the things that helps you figure out who you are and have an identity is what you do. And so, you know, that part of me doesn't understand it. But then on the other hand, like you're saying, you know, stasis, complacency, it's so much easier and more comfortable and more familiar to people
to just do what you're doing
than the struggle.
Yeah.
You know, and so then trying to do better. But I wanted to go back to what we were saying right before we went into the last commercial break. I find it laughable and actually kind of confusing that they are criticizing Flynn or anyone else in the Trump administration
about the Russians
who met with Russian diplomats.
Yeah.
That's what diplomats are sent here to do.
That's their job.
Is meet with people.
Yeah.
You know, if no one would ever meet with them, they would have no purpose for being here. they would just sit in their embassies and
Exactly.
smoke cigars all day or something. So I don't understand why these people are losing their minds. They're not meeting with spies. They're not meeting with
Well, they're all spies at some level or another.
Well, okay, but I'm saying they have that title
Yeah.
and they should be recognized as such. I mean, a spy comes here and lies to your face, and they say, "I'm
the Democrats."
Well, yeah. They come and they say, I'm an architect, or I'm a, whatever. I'm an engineer, but they're actually spies. I mean, so it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, contextually, it's not the same thing.
But the interesting thing is that they seem to gloss over. Hillary Clinton sold 20% of the nuclear interest of this company to the Russians.
Right. She sold billions of dollars of uranium.
This is not an opinion. This isn't what somebody thinks. This is fact. She sold 20% of our nuclear arsenal to the Russians.
Right.
Period. And no one debates that issue. Everyone accepts that as real. And yet Flynn just talks to the ambassador, "Oh, you're colluding with the Russians." That's insanity. The Russians paid Bill Clinton $1 gazillion to speak. They donate to that fund in Canada, which dumps money into their account.
Right.
And
their money laundering business that they call a foundation.
Exactly.
They euphemistically call a foundation.
Yeah, and they got the lower whats to say that Trump's guys, "Oh, you talked to the Russian ambassador." Okay. And what's your point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and one of I think it was Michael Flynn, maybe it was somebody else, I can't remember. Maybe it was Sessions. There was somebody in the Trump administration who they were like, "Oh yeah, he met with the Russians," but it was actually like a big luncheon.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of senators and congressmen there, and there was a whole bunch of diplomats there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he went to Starbucks with with the Russian
and hung out.
Right, exactly. It's like they were all at a luncheon. There was like 100 people.
And the other thing is, apparently, I just read this. Trump had brought, I forget what it was, something, a musical something to Russia. He brought it there and staged it, but like a cultural thing. And that, of course, well, look what he did.
He had the Miss Universe pageant there.
Is that what it was? It was something like that. I don't remember what. But so that was bad.
He owns that.
Well, yeah. Trump actually owned more than the Chinese. I'm not sure.
Lot of stuff, yeah.
He's which is another reason why I like the guy. I do. I like him.
I want to see him pay back some of these local units of government, though, that it's costing him a lot of money to provide security. Like when he goes to Florida, now he's in New Jersey. It costs them a lot of extra money in overtime for the police and stuff to provide the security.
But it always has.
In Florida, there is but they didn't have to. They didn't have to have the security to the level they do now. There's an airport that he goes into, or no, actually, he doesn't go into there, but it's close. It's so close to his Mar-a-Lago estate that they have to shut down the entire airport for the entire time that Trump is there.
Oh, right,
because
they're probably flying over the
Mar-a-Lago. They're losing revenue. Their tenants are moving out. They've got people doing flying lessons and parachuting and stuff, and they're leaving. He's gonna end up shutting down that whole airport.
Maybe they should use it as an alternate landing site for the Russians. I'm just thinking outside the box on this. I don't know. It's interesting. We probably played out all we're going to say about Comey, but I just think it's very interesting that they really hung their hat on Comey getting up, going to bat, hitting a home run, and it just.
Did we mention him leaking his own stuff too?
Yeah,
I love that.
He's the guy who did the leaks.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Head of the FBI.
He had to admit, he's like, oh,
does the leaks. All right. When we come back, fair wage for everybody. DNC's getting sued. We're going to talk about that when we come back with more on Target Radio. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity. For over 4 years, On Target Radio covered the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech on AM 560 The Answer. But a 1-minute commercial was $200, making it tough to find enough sponsors. So last November, we left AM 560 and began podcasting. There's a learning curve to podcasting, and we've worked through the kinks and would now like to make you an offer. You can have a 60-second audio or video commercial for as little as $25 a week. We can also offer fellow conservatives their own radio or video podcast for as little as $100 a week with equipment and technical personnel included. You provide the content and host, plus get 6 free minutes of commercial time you can sell yourself. If you'd like to be an On Target Radio sponsor or explore the possibility of having your own show, call me at 815-741-3474 and let's explore the possibilities together.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Join like-minded friends supporting the right to keep and bear arms in Illinois at 7 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois.
Well done.
Well, you know.
It's only his 50th time.
I got the tongue twister earlier, but then...
Did you like that one? We probably need to find a new writer for that one. I actually chuckled when I wrote the sentence, when Congress gets comfy with Comey, the consequences can be consequential. I was waiting to listen to you read that. I really was. I was sitting here with bated breath waiting for that one.
That's kind of a dick move.
Well, and that's sort of what I'm known for. But but you know, these little, what is it, tongue twister? Isn't there a real name for tongue twisters?
Oh, like
Palindrome?
alliteration.
Alliteration.
That one's
That's exactly right. It's alliteration.
I did know that one. I finally got one
There
right.
you go. It's not a periprestokian, but it's an alliteration. Yeah.
It's not an onomatopoeia. It's an
not
alliteration.
an onomatopoeia, no. Which I'll want to do that later. But anyway. It's been one of those days. We had, not to digress, but I'm going to digress. We did tactical pistol today, and had a good class. Had 10 people, and I'm getting kind of old for this. I left the house at 5 in the morning to get out there to set that stuff up. It takes about an hour and a half to set it all up. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I took that class from you probably over a year ago.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, wow.
I'm not sure what the implication of that wow is.
I was like, wow, he's teaching this class. You got down on the ground at one point, and I was like, I'm not sure he's going to back up again.
It's really good to have friends. Be nice if one of them had shown up tonight. You know what I'm saying? It was a good group. But it's I don't know how hot it got today. Do you know?
Oh, like 94
was
minimum. Yeah, it might have been. And obviously the index was higher.
Yeah, I practically had to peel clothes off when I got home. I just felt like 20 miles a day.
You're not too burned though. That's good. Sometimes you come back looking like a lobster with white hair.
I'm not too. I wore a hat the whole time, so I'm not too bad. But but it was. It's just a lot of work.
And you guys were under that cover when you weren't shooting.
Yeah, but most of the time you're shooting. But it was, like I said, it was a good class, good group of guys. And what's interesting, and then we'll actually get back to what we're supposed to be doing, but what was interesting is I had a lot of very experienced shooters, competitors.
Oh, wow.
So there were, like 3-gun and IDPA stuff. A lot of guys in there, they had race guns. I mean, and so when they first getting all the stuff out, I'm going, what the hell are you doing here? It's a beginner's class.
Yeah.
But I teach that as a lethal force course, not as a competition. And
true, it's different.
Yeah, when I shot IDPA, what was that, 2 weeks ago? I got like 287 procedural calls, I think, because I don't follow rules well. I just kill him, gotta kill him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of not how that works.
It's a completely different philosophical standpoint.
So, despite the fact that a lot of the people in that class were very experienced, they said really good things about it because we looked at it from the other perspective, which is stuff we do all the time in classroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and I did that thing, and I don't mean to keep going on, but the thing that I got from Rob Pincus when I took his class some time ago, I let them all load up a mag, and I go, okay, we're probably 5 yards away from the target, and I go, bad guy, going to kill you, show me what you're going to do. And they all would they have these nice tight little circles, very proud of themselves. And then I go, you're dead. And they fry their brain because that's what they're used to doing,
Right.
This is what you do. And we talked about the whole thing about speed versus accuracy and all that. And by the time I left, they were all sloppy shooters, and it worked really well. They were actually.
I was going to say, I think the real indication that you've done something good is when they drop out of IDPA and they don't compete anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because Blasky, the guy who runs it, will kill me. If one person goes, I'm quitting IDPA because I took Lombardo's class, I will get lynched. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it is fun to particularly take people with a lot of experience and show them something new. So anyway, that's that. We're done with that. On to the next thing. If you have the inclination, give us a call, 815-205-1584. We're talking now.
It's probably good that you went off on that tangent because we can only be faux outraged for so long.
Which is precisely when I went off that tangent, because I'm looking at the clock going, probably we can bluff our way through what's left. Yeah.
Right. See, I wasn't gonna be quite so bald-faced about it.
When we first talked about this show with the station manager, program manager, and all that, you remember we said we were going to be like the people next door. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't get much more next door than we are.
Nope.
Yeah.
I got my cheese and crackers right here.
Exactly. Only if we were in our jammies would we be more next door. Yeah. I find a certain level of irony, although I probably shouldn't, that the Democratic National Committee gave bonuses to people, in some cases, $1 million worth of bonuses, right? Mm-hmm. Wasserman Schultz, all right?
Well, she's just named in the lawsuit.
You remember her though, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
How could I forget her naturally curly hair and everything else?
They pay these people who I'm not exactly sure what they do. In her case, she was the most inept moron probably on the planet. Mm-hmm. And they give these people these big bonuses, and the people who are actually doing the work, with whom they're supposed to be paying money, mm-hmm. they stick it to them.
Yeah, it's a class action lawsuit that was filed against a number of parties, as many of the plaintiffs in the class action lawsuit worked 80 to 90 hours a week for Hillary Clinton's campaign and were compensated $3,000 a month.
This is the party that says we have to pay people a living wage. Mm-hmm. Well, the living wage, I guess, is flexible.
Right.
Depending on who pays it.
$36,000 a year is not horrible, but that's like slave. If you work twice...
But you're talking 90 hours
right,
a week.
If you work twice what a normal person works or more for $36,000, that's like slave labor almost.
It basically is, if you figure it out by the hour.
Right.
Everything they do is just this double standard thing.
Oh, I know. That's like their specialty.
They don't understand. Like in the military. In the military, officers eat last. When you're in the field, you take care of your men. Mm-hmm. You know?
Sure.
And if there's not enough food left, well, that's it. You take care of your men.
Yeah.
Democrats are exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
You know? I worked for a guy when I was a journalist who, when we made money, mm-hmm. he was very liberal. I've told you this.
Generous, not liberal.
Well, not politically, but liberal with giving money away.
Right, that's what I mean.
One year I got almost, as a Christmas gift, I got almost my salary. Mm-hmm. Not quite, but a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
And in the worst year we had, which was during, when the recession was going on, my Christmas bonus was still $6,000, $7,000. You know, mm-hmm. Conservatives have that belief that you take care of the people who take care of you. You spread the wealth. Mm-hmm. Democrats don't do that.
Right.
They just don't do that. They will give you little bits of free stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I cannot get over and what I cannot grasp is the narrative that they have somehow convinced the general public, apparently, that they're just like you. They're everyman.
Yeah.
But, Hillary Clinton is the one with like 6 houses.
Exactly.
And, John Kerry has like more money than God. His
wife does.
And he had a lot of money, and then he married rich, and so now he's got like more money than God.
Almost as much as Al Gore.
And right, and all these people. I mean, there is no one at that level who is not a billionaire. Okay, only billionaires can do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. I really don't understand, like, people that we know, regular people who happen to be liberals, who seem to think that these are, the people next door. No, they're not. None of them. None of them are like us.
Well, they could be. They own so many houses. They may have one of them next door to you. You don't know.
Yeah, they're renting it out.
Oh, yeah, of course. They don't live in it.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, they paint Republicans as, they're the 1%ers, they're rich,
Exactly.
they don't understand the struggles that you go through, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but neither do the Democrat. It's like, I'll give you that, but you have to give me that Hillary Clinton doesn't either.
They're not going to give you that. But she has how many? Remember that thing was going around for a while?
Yeah, I think it's
5
like 6
houses or something? 5 or 6 houses?
5 or 6.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were rentals, but still, I mean, even owning 2 houses for most people is completely out of reach.
The Democrats, you got to give them credit, are very good at getting out a message. And they're very good at putting their finger in the wind, finding out what should be said, and doing it. They're extremely they turn out the vote.
Yeah.
And the joke, of course, always has been Republicans can't turn out the vote because they're at work. But they turn out a vote. They're extremely good at doing that. And we have this sort of reluctance to get down in the mud with them. Mm-hmm. And in the long run, they're beating us. Now,
which is why people like Ann Coulter are so gratifying.
Yeah.
It's why we love our Rush Limbaughs and our Ann Coulters, because they're not afraid to get down in the mud. They're like, you know what, my clothes will go in the washing machine. It's not a problem. It's on,
That's it. Exactly.
So that's why we love them.
Well, and Joe. Joe is...
Joe, yeah. Even hitting closer to home, even Steve Ballage,
Steve Ballage, he's a work of art. You never know. I was going to say you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. Yeah, you do.
But you kind of do.
It's going to be something that most people are going to go, what? But they believe
it's going to be like, it's going to be something related to what you were thinking, but you never in a million years would have said it.
That's what I'm saying. It's something that you believe, but you would never say.
Right.
For Steve, it's like, why? What did they say?
Yeah.
It's true.
He goes, well, it's true.
That's it. It's true. It's true,
He goes, what? It's true.
Nobody that is listening has probably ever heard of Steve Ballage. He's on the Will County Board. But he's just a very, very interesting guy. And he likes playing the kind of dumb guy. He's dumb like a fox.
Yeah, he is not dumb.
We're done with that segment. That's on the toilet. Okay, so when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about, you're not going to believe this, UCLA is paying students to become social justice advocates. This is where our company's going.
Another euphemism.
That's it. When we return with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
In need of a ride to O'Hare or Midway Airport? Well, look no further. The Yellow Checker Cab Company is the cab company for you. With the Yellow Checker Cab Company, you will always be greeted by a friendly face and arrive safely and on time for your flight. Start your trip off right by taking advantage of one of their limos, shuttle vans, cabs, or courtesy cars. And airport trips are not all they specialize in. This 24-hour cab service will pick you up anytime, any day, for any occasion. From bachelorette parties to school dances to just a night out with friends. Yellow Checker Cab Company has the best rates in town. So sit back, relax, and leave the driving to the professionals. Once you experience their fast and affordable cab service, you'll be a customer for life. When it comes to cab companies, be sure to choose Yellow Checker Cab because you have the right to expect certain things from your cab company. For further information or to book your trip today, call 815-744-2900. That's 815-744-2900.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
From the Illinois State Rifle Association, the good news is that SB 1657, the gun dealer licensing bill, was not passed by the Illinois House of Representatives. The bad news is that it was not defeated either. Shortly before 8 p.m. on Wednesday, May 31st, the Illinois House of Representatives adjourned to the call of the chair. That means regular session is continued. Deadlines for bills have been extended until June 30th, 2017. Deadlines in the legislature can be extended again and again. That means SB 1657 is still alive and can be voted on anytime the legislature is in session. This will likely be one of the summers in which the Illinois legislature will be repeatedly called back into session. That also means that the anti-gun side has time to work on getting votes. The ISRA will continue working through the summer to prevent this bill and other anti-gun bills like SB 556 from passing. It's time again for the NRA Day Open House at the ISRA Range in Bonfield. This year's event will be Saturday, June 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Why should you attend NRA Day at the ISRA Range? There are many reasons. I gave you reasons 1 through 6 last week. Number 7, everyone gets a safety briefing and hearing protection. Number 8, you will have a shooting coach with you for each different gun you try. Number 9, a peek inside the Illinois State Rifle Association range, which is a private range. Number 10, rare vintage military vehicles on display and military reenactors. You can even try your hand at axe throwing. Number 11, I know I mentioned the covered firing points, but virtually every part of this event is under a roof or a tent, so NRA Day goes on, rain or shine. Volunteers are still needed for the open house as well. If you would like to volunteer, contact the ISRA office in Chatham. I put this and the full contact info on our Facebook page earlier today. So we will see you at the open house on Saturday, June 17th, right?
Right.
I'm glad you're listening, because usually you're not. The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday and Sunday, July 8th and 9th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. When seconds count, the police are only minutes away. That's why you should get Illinois Concealed Carry. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. Sunday, July 9th, long-range rifle taught by Ed Janka. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
We will be there next Saturday, right? Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
I actually had a bit of a problem. You know, we did the torch run.
Yeah.
And
well, we didn't do a torch run.
you don't have to tattle.
That made it sound like we actually ran somewhere.
I did run to the restroom, but anyway,
doesn't count.
I had maybe not for you, but it did for me. I had a problem with it. I had a problem with I put it together and there were some issues, so I called for backup. The guy in Indiana that helped train me. So it's not. It's actually it was sort of done, and it had
you're
some
talking about
problems.
the video.
The video, yeah. So we're going to get it up sometime in our lifetime. It should go up, hopefully.
I really wish you would stop saying that. You need to say we're going to put it on the internet.
What did I say?
At some point.
What did I say?
Get it up.
And there's that. But anyway.
Just such a vulgar phrase.
I haven't decided. I don't know if we're going to bring our booth to this thing. Are we going to bring a booth?
I don't think we should.
I think it's a pain in the neck.
I don't think it. Especially because it says AM 560 on it, I don't think it helps us in any way.
No, really not. The only thing is we kind of need a place to set up, though.
What do you mean?
Well,
for
because
interviews?
we'll have gear and all kinds of stuff. Interview people. We'll have to work that out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something
We'll have
out.
to talk about it.
The other thing we need is press credentials for the Warrior Games. Did you send that in?
So, moving on to the next topic.
Okay, do it tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. UCLA. You know, this whole social justice warrior thing is getting a little creepy, right? They're going to pay people to be social justice advocates?
This whole article is full of euphemisms, as far as I'm concerned.
It makes it more enjoyable to read.
Well, it does, but it's kind of hard to read it with a straight face. So it's really fun. Okay.
Go ahead.
So apparently a number of campuses, over 200, already have bias response teams.
Bias response teams.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
So, which I'm assuming what they're responding to is microaggressions, right?
If they're not in their safe space.
Unless it's macroaggressions.
That could be too. If I'm around, it's going to be macro.
So UCLA, apparently they're late to the game of forming a bias response team, but they are. I don't know if other schools pay theirs, but UCLA is going to pay their bias response team students. They're going to hire 8 to 10 students. It doesn't say how much they're going to pay them, but it does say that their job, they're going to call them social justice advocates, which again seems highly euphemistic to me, since their job is really to bully their fellow students into doing what they think is right. The job of these social justice advocates will be to educate fellow students about systems of oppression.
Meaning conservatives on campus.
Which is hilarious. So the social justice advocates students will help their classmates navigate a world that operates on whiteness, patriarchy, and, wait for it, heteronormativity as the primary ideologies. Yeah, I just said heteronormativity.
That's it's a dynamic and living language.
Apparently, I mean, those parts did previously exist. So I guess you could say it's a portmanteau.
My favorite line in this entire article is they're going to educate fellow students about systems of oppression. And the line is, nothing says I'm oppressed like attending a school that costs anywhere from $28,000 to $51,000 a year and getting an average $9,000 a year from a school to do that, to go there. Yeah. These people, the thing I don't understand is, why do we let these people get away with this stuff? Now, did you read the piece on Facebook?
Yeah, I did. Now, still, like, there's another nail here. So I don't know exactly who they're warring against. I don't know who the system.
The social justice warriors?
Yeah, I don't know who exactly is putting
warring
in place
against the people that pay the bills.
These systems of oppression, because only 26% of students at UCLA are white at this point. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26%. 26% I mean, how can you be oppressed by less than, like, just slightly more than a fourth of the student body?
You just don't understand the gravity of this situation.
Clearly I don't. As I said, I did my best at doing that with a straight face, but I know there was a lot of air quotes.
How many times have we talked about everybody that listens to what we do and watches what we do? Now Facebook comes out with this. You read this, right?
I did.
And
it's freaky as hell.
They're talking about using the camera on your computer.
They're going to turn on your webcam or the camera on your phone.
On your phone. But they are going to turn it on. Not you.
Right.
They're going to turn it on.
They're going to manipulate it.
And observe you. Mm-hmm. You remember when it wasn't Sony. Who was the TV?
Samsung.
Samsung. Was it probably a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay, and we go, this isn't good. Yeah. Remember?
Well, I mean, there were people, and I was one of them for the longest time, and I can't remember exactly what the story was, but people, they said that Facebook Messenger was going to, like, track you somehow. I don't know if it was GPS tracking or if it was same
if you
thing.
turn the tracking
it was going to turn on your phone, your video camera and look at where you are and what you're doing. And
it's creepy.
It is.
And so now they're justifying it by saying we want to enhance your experience.
No, they don't. They want to enhance their marketing.
Yes, exactly. But you have to admit they didn't stoop low. They didn't say it was for the children. Okay?
Well, that's true. I mean, well, I'll give them that. and they did admit it's for marketing purposes, which it already freaks me out. Like how much Facebook like stalks me.
You know what?
I'll be shopping for something on Amazon. Next thing I know, I'm seeing an ad on
Yeah.
Facebook for something
Oh,
related.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
WTF?
Yeah, and literally the stuff, not only the item you specifically look at, but anything that's close to it.
Right,
It starts just popping up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that freaks me out.
Now, let me ask you a serious question about this. If they're collecting that data through visual and apparently audio, if the CIA comes along and goes, I want what you got on Lombardo. Mm-hmm. Give me what you got on Fritz.
Or I'm going to stand here, and you're going to turn on the camera because we want to see what he's doing.
Yeah. So this is freaky stuff.
I don't like it one little bit. I'm completely uncomfortable with that.
And Facebook, now, and here's another weird thing about Facebook. Remember I had that whole debacle about they wouldn't run my ad, right? That was 1 week.
Yeah.
At least they didn't turn me off, which they have for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I ran a very similar ad 2 weeks later, and there was no question.
It was fine, yeah.
So I don't even understand that.
You're either getting a person who is a particular Nazi, or it's just a computer algorithm.
It's a capricious system.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And it flags stuff that shouldn't be flagged.
Now, the other article that we had, it sounds like this is really stupid, but it really ties. And the title of the article is, did you ever secretly remove the tag on the mattress that says, do not remove under penalty of law? And
No.
the point of the article that makes it interesting is our personal information, our bank accounts, whatever it is ours. You have to have a warrant. If the police want to come in, if the state wants to come into your home, they got to have a warrant.
Right.
But with this stuff, there's no warrant. They just flat out tell you. And you know what? They go, whoa, it's in the thing that you sign.
Right.
Have you ever read one of them? Nobody reads that stuff.
Reads that stuff.
It's pages of gobbledygook.
Well, probably Ed reads it.
Well, Ed probably does read. Yeah, probably true. Ed probably does read it. No, that can't be true because we would have gotten a synopsis. He would have sent something,
He would have given us a PowerPoint
Exactly,
about it.
that's exactly right. And we can say that because he and Margot are out of the country. So
so we know he's not watching.
It's safe to talk about him behind his back. Yeah. But no, it really is bothersome. You're right. And here's the other thing they've started doing. I mean, I don't know, a while back. They tell you people you should have this person as your friend, and they're getting it from people you know. And I mean, this has become like a giant
circles.
network.
It's like a Venn diagram.
It is. It's just a giant network, and they're plugging you into things.
Well, and I know you're one of these people. You love the cloud. I personally do not like the cloud. I put as little in any cloud as I possibly can.
And It's not that I like the
I
cloud.
am not in the Apple cloud because, there were celebrities that had their photos exposed that were
photos they didn't want
that were
exposed.
in the Apple cloud. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Don't put my shit in that cloud.
It isn't that I like it. It's that it really is convenient when you got 25,000 computers
And that's how
all
they
over.
get us on all of this crap.
Well, it is true.
That's
it
how
is
they
true.
get us on all of it.
It's like an opiate.
Yeah.
See, we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Well, time goes by when you're having. Well, isn't that
The
interesting?
music will start any second, and then you would have known.
We keep.
Then you would have known.
Hi. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen tonight, and we appreciate it if you tell your friends about On Target Radio. Tell them to call and tell us what time it is.
We'd also like to thank our engineer and announcer, Eric Allen, and our sponsors, the Will County chapter of the Illinois State Rifle Association, Yellow Checker of Joliet, my editor, Creative Business Services, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
And finally, we hope you listen next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.